think I'll be talking in the context of some of the things that were mentioned in the morning. I'll touch a little bit, and that's what you need to do, about the notion of the business that we are in. And what was the business? We were told we are all in human well-being. And that's actually the one which provides the broader perspective to this topic today. The other few things that there was some mention about the philosophy, and there was a question over here that why we seem to be helpful in our daily lives but are not helpful when the time for dealing with the customers come in. And that, I think, needs some introspection. It was a very important question that was raised over here, and I have a particular point of view regarding that. There was also the talk about a happy employee, and one of the interesting things in the last slide that was shown by Zindani Saab over here, there were, I think, 5 or 7 items, and except one, all of the others were not related to the customer. And that actually brings me to the topic today. The first, for universities, I would like your help. So it is very difficult, and I'll tell you why it is difficult to define a student. A student is paying us. He's also the person whom we are teaching all the time. But is he really our customer? The parents, of course, are paying, but we are not delivering any service except in an indirect manner to them. Thirdly, of course, once the student becomes a finished product, if we can call a student a product, then the user of that product, I don't even want to say consumer of that product. And that's, can you understand my problem, the type of terminologies that are applicable typically in a business are not sounding very clear the moment we come into the realm of the universities. So the industry where the student gets employed, that can be thought of as a customer. These all can be thought of as the stakeholders also. But who determines our future? जो future of society है, future of the world है, और humanity's well-being है, वो जो customer है, वो जो society है, वो country है या humanity है, वो भी तो हमारी customer है ना, उसकी उम्मीदें हमारे से वापस हैं. And when we are not performing well, we rightly can blame, just as we were blaming KE a little while earlier, to the task that has been entrusted to the universities. So one of the things that you must take away from this discussion is that defining who actually the customer is very difficult. And that's where I'm trying to link it with Zindani's last slide, where most of the items were not directly related with the customer, they were only indirectly so. And those included, there was a term like hiring, and there was a term like, I think there was a line in there about keeping the employees happy, and so on. I couldn't take the picture of that slide. But that's important. So who is our customer is actually difficult. And here, I think, I'm tempted to, unlike what was said earlier in that earlier presentation, personally I think these are all our customers. But there's a problem with that last statement, and I'll come to that in a little while. What are the products and services that we are offering?
Knowledge and training.
Knowledge. Sure. Knowledge किसको देते हैं? Students को देते हैं. ठीक है. और डिग्री और मतलब फिनिश प्रोडक्ट्स हम एम्प्लॉइज दे रहे हैं यूनिवर्सिटी इंडस्ट्री को जी. व्हाट एल्स?
Basically, let's see, polish the students. Polishing.
हाँ
Polishing.
पॉलिशिंग, हाँ वो ग्रूमिंग तो आ गया जी. वो जो फिनिश प्रोडक्ट हम बना कर दे रहे हैं वो हो गया जी. वो तो आ गया था, वो स्टूडेंट के अंदर उन्होंने डाल दिया. अब आप और बताइए मुझे हमारी क्या प्रोडक्ट्स एंड सर्विसेज?
Research and development for the
रिसर्च, इंटेलेक्चुअल कॉन्ट्रीब्यूशंस जी. और गुड रिसर्च की पब्लिकेशन, जिनको मैं अक्सर कहता हूँ कुछ ना समझे खुदा करे कोई. क्योंकि वो रिसर्चर लिखता है वो इस जबान में लिखी जाती है, इस तरीके से लिखी जाती है जो आमतौर पर इंडस्ट्री के लोग नहीं समझ पाते. दैट्स वन ऑफ द इश्यूज दैट वी हैव. व्हाट एल्स? लेट्स सी how many of these things were there. Yes, we talked about the graduates as a product. We talked about the degree programs. We talked about, did we talk about certificates and executive trainings? IBA का CED है, हमारा DMAC है, IOBM के अंदर लम्स का राउजिंग एग्जीक्यूटिव सेंटर है. There is the word consultancy. So we offer consultancies, and we are doing a lot many consultancies. Research publications was there, creation of new knowledge. The task of the university is also to create new knowledge. हम लोग तो सिर्फ बाहर का मटेरियल लाकर और वो सुबह वाले सेशन में कंप्लेन भी हो रही थी कि what we are trying to do is just trying to regurgitate whatever we have gotten from abroad. And we are not developing our own internal contribution to the body of knowledge. But that's the creation of new knowledge is an essential part of what the university does. And then solutions to society and industry problems. And I'll be talking a little bit about this. Collaborations, quest for more knowledge. That's again another topic. I'll come to that to explain further. And new ventures and enterprises. These are some of the products and services that a university offers. So in Pakistan, most of the universities are simply teaching universities, offering the first two bullets over here. There are few of them that are working on all those bullets, and some are specializing in certain areas. But that's the entire range of the things that a university must be doing. Now let's come to, so when we were having a similar talk with the faculty members, the question arose, and quite vehemently, that it is beneath the dignity of the university, of the profession, of the aspirations of the university and the people and the society to be talking about just selling and buying. You see? And the word below is a transaction. So when we do something for a return, that is known as a transaction. And there was an earlier question, and I said that I'll be talking about that question. The philosophical part of it was that why we in our daily lives often are very helpful, we offer tea and other help to others, but when we come to on the side of the organization solving a particular customer's problem, we start taking and throwing the book, as the gentleman from UBL was mentioning, throwing the book using State Bank and the regulator, and coming up with hundreds of reasons why a particular thing cannot be done rather than facilitating the customer. So there is an issue, and then there was a talk that maybe because वो कर्नाटका में जो बंदा बैठा हुआ है जो ऑफर कर रहा है सर्विसेज BPO की, he is more helpful because he is getting paid more. I think this type of a relationship is known as transactional relationship. Transactional relationship जो है वो give and take के मामले में होती है as a transaction. But can we look at the role of a teacher as a transaction? Will you कि भाई इतने में तो इतना ही होता है, वो किसी ने सुबह ही बोला था कि इतने पैसों में तो इतने ही मुस्कुरा सकते हैं, ठीक है? लेकिन is it the status of a faculty member to deal in that direction? भाई मुझे तो इतने मिलते हैं, मैं तो ऐसे ही पढ़ाऊंगा. वो भाई किसने कहा तुम्हें पढ़ाने को? आप जिसको हो जानो दिल अजीज उसकी गली में जाए. तो अगर आपको इतने पैसा चाहिए तो छोड़ें यार, ये यूनिवर्सिटी का काम छोड़ें. So we are talking about some bigger ideals when we are talking about the university and the expectations of the customer. And then, is customer always right? Do you think a teacher would always say that, but because the student is the customer, he is always right? And because the industry wants कि मुझे तो अब बंदा ऐसा चाहिए, ओ भाई हम बंदा बना के आपको देने के लिए क्या बैठे हैं क्या? असल में तो हमारा काम तो कुछ और है, और वो काम क्या है उसके ऊपर आते हैं. You see, what happens when we, जो हमारा सबसे बेहतरीन आउटपुट होता है, जो गोल्ड मेडलिस्ट स्टूडेंट्स होते हैं किसी भी यूनिवर्सिटी के, जो who have performed the best, what do they do the moment they get their degree? जी क्या करते हैं? जॉब अप्लाई करते हैं. पाकिस्तान में तो जॉब मिल ही जाती है, क्या करते हैं? दे आर अ फिश आउट ऑफ वाटर. वो मछली पानी में बाहर आती है ना तो तड़पती है. So they are like fish out of water. What we have taught them is totally irrelevant to the society. हमने कॉटलर से सिखाया है, हमने ईरान से सिखाया है, हमने तुरान से सिखाया है, नहीं सिखाया तो पाकिस्तान के 5 बड़े प्रॉब्लम्स क्या है बताइए? नहीं, वो तो फलसफे वाली बात कर रहा है जी. क्या बड़े बड़े प्रॉब्लम्स हैं? पॉवर्टी, करप्शन और एनर्जी. ये 5 प्रॉब्लम्स क्या कोई कोर्स आपने पढ़ा था? कितने लोग यूनिवर्सिटीज में, ठीक है, इन प्रॉब्लम्स के बारे में कितने कोर्सेज पढ़े? एंड अनफॉर्चुनेटली आवर करिकुलम हैज लैक्ड tremendously here. And no wonder when we create such a bright student expert in Kotler and whatnot, the only thing he finds is कि ये तो जगह है ही नहीं रहने की. So I was sitting in a meeting about 10 years ago, and that's where it clicked me. तो हम कोई 6-8 दिन बैठे हुए थे. तो वही जो पाकिस्तान में बात होती है, पाकिस्तान तो इधर जा रहा है, वो जरदारी का भी जमाना था. पाकिस्तान तो ऐसा ही है और ये हो जाएगा. तो कुछ देर तो मैं सुनता रहा. एंड देन आई वाज फोर्स्ड टू से दिस थिंग. दिस इज ऑन माय ब्लॉग आल्सो. देखें, बकिया सारी दुनिया पाकिस्तान में कीड़े निकालती है, लेकिन हम लोग तो ये बैठे ना 5-6, हमारे पास टोटल नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स जो है वो 20,000. मैंने उसी वक्त एक rough calculation, we have 20,000 students who remain with us from 2 to 4 and even 5 and 6 years. इन 20,000 में से, और हम सब जो हैं डीन के पोजीशन के ऊपर काफी सालों से भी हैं, इनमें से हम 4 ऐसे लोग नहीं निकाल सके जो पाकिस्तान का हाल ठीक करें. तो हमें तो चिल्लू भर पानी में डूब जाना चाहिए. So anyone can say anything about Pakistan, but not even a university teacher who is teaching about 100 students in a given semester, and he keeps on teaching that number of students year after year, has no moral right to say about anything about Pakistan and its environment, because we have not been able to create anything substantial from there. So what's the goal of education? And that is very interesting and we should be looking at it. So society as a customer is yearning for this. देखें, एजुकेशन की बात हो रही है, बचपन में हम जिस स्कूल में जाते थे वहाँ हमें एजुकेशन का मकसद बताया जाता था. मुझे नहीं मालूम कि आपको याद है या नहीं है. हर जगह मेरे चमकने से, ठीक है, दूर, हर जगह मेरे चमकने से उजाला हो जाए. ये पढ़ा जाता है ना, पे आदमी तो मैं शम्मा की तरह हूँ, लाइट फैला रहा हूँ सारी दुनिया से. ये कहीं दरमियान में तो गड़बड़ हो गई. ठीक है, मेरा तो मैंडेट ये था कि मैं सारी दुनिया का अंधेरा दूर करूंगा और हर जगह मैं अपने चमकने से उजाला करूंगा. समवेयर वो जो ट्रांजैक्शनल थॉट है वो इस चक्कर में आ गए हम कि मैं अपने घर में उजाला करूंगा, वहां जनरेटर होगा, बकिया दुनिया जाएगा. ठीक है, मेरी जेब में उजाला होगा, मेरी फैमिली का उजाला होगा, मेरे घर में उजाला होगा. एंड दैट्स the customer that we have ignored. And when we have ignored this customer, the other issues, and as industry, when they look at us, they find out some of these issues. That's their experience. And the experience suggests that there is bookish knowledge. हमें तो दोबारा बंदों को ट्रेन करना पड़ता है, जैसे हम उनके बंदे बना रहे हैं. हमें तो दुनिया में वो लोग बनाने थे जो कि सारी दुनिया में रोशनी कर रहे हैं. ना वो बना रहे हैं ना वो बना रहे हैं. ठीक है, और एथिकल स्टैंडर्ड्स का इशू है. एक्शन ओरिएंटेड हमें गो गेटर्स चाहिए और लीडरशिप चाहिए, क्रिएटिविटी चाहिए. दीज आर दैट्स द कस्टमर एक्सपीरियंस. पेरेंट्स एक्सपीरियंस इज, उसको तो सिर्फ ये नजर आता है मेरा बच्चे को कोई ऐसी फील्ड बताओ जिसमें बड़ा स्कोप, ठीक है, बड़ा करियर. यानी कि वो मास्लो के बॉटम मोस्ट रंग के ऊपर, लैडर के ऊपर खड़े हैं. ठीक है, और परस्यूट ऑफ हैप्पीनेस वो नहीं, भाई कैरियर पैसा की बात बताओ, बस ये हमें चाहिए. ये हमारा दूसरे कस्टमर का एक्सपीरियंस है. स्टूडेंट का एक्सपीरियंस उससे भी ज्यादा खतरनाक है. एंड ऑल ऑफ यू हैव बीन. ठीक है, स्टूडेंट बेचारा डिसएंगेज्ड है, कंफ्यूज्ड है. हम चाहते हैं कि वो मोटिवेटेड हो, लेकिन मोटिवेट कैसे करें? एग्जाम्स, ग्रेड्स और CGPA के चक्कर में ऐसा डाला हुआ है कि बस. और आप लोगों को जो एप्लीकेंट कम करने होते हैं तो उस बेचारे क्या वो समझता है कि हालांकि आपको पता है कि आपने कभी उसको देखना भी नहीं है उसकी CGPA को. उसके बाद ब्रेथ वर्सेस डेप्थ, फंक्शनलिज्म. What we are doing is we all of us, how many of us are here who know how to read but are not readers? How many of us over here know how to write but are not writers? And that's where the disconnect is. अब मैं quickly आपको जाऊंगा and I'll take liberty with about another 5 minutes. मुझे आधा घंटा दिया था, मेरे ख्याल आपने. अच्छा, just quickly. एक क्विक फ्रेमवर्क है, जस्ट क्योंकि यहाँ पे लोग हैं. यू सी, चूंकि ये एक अगर वैल्यू चेन मॉडल देखा जाए तो उसके अंदर जो नीचे वैल्यू चेन है, एडमिशन है, टीचिंग है, इंस्ट्रक्शन है, एग्जामिनेशन है और इवेंचुअली एलुमनाई डिग्री लेकर वो एलुमनाई बन जाता है. और उसके जो कस्टमर्स हैं वो ऊपर लिखे हुए हैं, इंडस्ट्री, सोसाइटी एंड पेरेंट्स. और ये एक फीडबैक लूप बन रही है. जो नॉलेज क्रिएशन की वैल्यू चेन है उसके अंदर 3 एलिमेंट्स हैं बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट. एक एलिमेंट है जिसे हम एंगेजमेंट कहते हैं, एक इनोवेशन का है और एक इम्पैक्ट का है. ये ACSB एक टॉप एक्रेडिटेशन एजेंसी है, उसके हम गाइडलाइंस फॉलो कर रहे हैं उसकी. और इस चीज को 3 दूसरी तरीकों से देखा जाता है जिसे कहते हैं फेमस 3 R's: रिसर्च, रिगर एंड रेलेवेंस. और इन चीजों को किस तरह से अपने सिस्टम में इनकॉर्पोरेट किया जाता है तो अब आप research का देख लें तो these are some of the ways it is done. Rigor comes through these activities and relevance comes to these activities. I'm not going to go inside each one of them, but just showing you how the issues that I have outlined earlier need to be linked together to create a mechanism where we can satisfy the customers that we have. Now the important part from these slides, and of course we are short of time, what we need to understand is that we need to look at a broader dimension of the customer. We need to get out from the transactional relationships that we have been aspiring for. We have a duty to this earth and this environment and this society. This unfettered pursuit for profit, where everything is being measured in terms of a transaction, is neither going to help the businesses succeed in the long run, nor it is doing anything good to our environment. What we have done up till now is to make this world unsafe for our children and their children. Now, what needs to be done? And the key portion in all of this, and it went through very fast, was the faculty members. जो इस पूरे experience के अंदर जो मैंने आपको बताया, जिसके अंदर relationships हैं, and there are so many projects through which there are experiential learning projects, and then there are several mechanisms where we are trying to address some of the issues that I mentioned in the earlier slides. I simply mentioned, because it's about customer experience, I mentioned the adverse experiences that the society has, that the society as a customer feels, the industry as a customer feels, the student as a customer feels, the parents as a customer feel, and how through our value chain and through our processes we are trying to input. But remember this, that we cannot reduce everything down to those numbers. I think this relentless pursuit for numbers is taking out the spirit from the entire fun of the things, fun that we were having in this. And remember, in the earlier session, if we are not having fun in what we are doing, then it's useless.